Good morning and welcome back to the sunny side of TV. Thank you so very much for staying with us right here on CVM. Good morning to Audrey the Queen Reed, my sister friend, and good morning to everybody in Florida watching in the 305, the 905, the 954. Good morning to you, each and everybody in Miramar, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando. Good morning to you. Thank you so very much for watching us right here on CVM. It's time for another Law and Order, JA, and the question sent in to us reads as follows. Hey CVM, did Donald Trump change U.S. family law to end the 50-50 asset split during divorce? Well, because we're global, joining us this morning to speak to us on this matter is attorney at law Bridget M. Bennett. She's our very special guest. We're flying on a private jet, and Bridget is here to elucidate on this very important issue. Good morning, Bridget. How are you doing, Counselor?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am magnificent. Thank you so much for asking. But a lot of people will be saying, why Miss Kitty Jamaica this? Why should we care about what Donald Trump is doing in the United States? Why is it our business? And so, you know, why do we need to know? What say you on the matter?
So, first of all, everybody in Jamaica and around the world is afraid of Donald Trump, but he blows a lot of smoke. So he cannot change family law, okay? So in the United States, there are states' rights and federal law. Donald Trump is federal. So all this stuff going around on Instagram and TikTok I've been seeing.
It's fear-mongering.
It is, and it's incorrect information. So that was a great question.
So well, I don't even know the background, but what did Donald say? Come in really too fan up, Donald. I'm really too follow him up. You understand? So talk to me though, Counselor, as to what was he proposing, or what is it that people were actually fearing?
So generally, in most states, except for 9 U.S. states, when there's a divorce proceeding, there is an equitable distribution of assets, so 50-50.
Yes.
Regardless of who worked, who came in with money, and so forth, unless there was a prenup. So he's saying that men earn a lot of money, and when women marry wealthy men, it's unfair that the woman walks away with 50%. So he wants to do away with that law. Well, maybe if you treat your woman's rights, you probably wouldn't be in divorce, however many times he had been divorced.
But he also has prenups. He has had prenups with his marriages. One in particular, I remember, stipulated that if it was a marriage of short duration, then the woman would not get above a certain amount of money. So persons can you know, write into their own marriage what they see fit. So if you're a wealthy man and you are getting married, or you're a wealthy woman,
there you go.
Matter, that part, yes, you can also write that in your prenuptial agreement to say how the distribution of property or monies will be done. And so you have that protection there already. So I don't understand why he would even propose or purport to do such a thing.
So the prenups are kind of a separate beast.
Yes.
But under most state laws, the amount of spousal support that one receives is based on the length of the marriage. So you generally have short-term, mid-term, and long-term marriages. So I believe in the state of Florida, if you hit 17 years, then you're in it for the long run.
Haul,
you're in
but
for like
life
permanent.
Yes. Federal time, I like 15 to life. So I'm saying if you're doing 17 years, you know, it's like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You did bring up a great point, because he's it seems to me, very bitter against women and making it appear that women marry men for money so that they can get half of the assets in the case of a divorce. But I know many women personally and on a business level who are extremely successful and have gone through hell and back with husbands who are going after them very hard.
Mary J. Blige can tell about it.
Yeah, man.
Let me tell you, that played out in the public sphere. But as we're talking about marriages, though, Counselor, what are some of the things, you know, if persons are going to be marrying people overseas, what are some of the questions that they should ask, and how can they protect themselves? Because people meet people on the internet, people come down for vacation, people travel as well, and, you know, you meet somebody, you hit it off nicely, and you want to get married, and you know, they get married, but before they actually tie the knot, what are some questions that they should be asking as to how to protect themselves? Because when you're out of the Jamaican jurisdiction, different laws and rules apply. So based on where you're based, what can you tell us about some of the questions, Miss Kitty? These are some of the things that people need to be asking. Well, don't just run, go marry anybody.
Well, they definitely need to know the financial position.
Them credit
both
score.
parties. Yes, credit scores.
Yeah,
that part.
hello, that part. What is a good credit score, Miss Bennett?
Over 700 to 800.
Very well.
Yes.
Okay, where can we go and check it? Because you can tell me, but it's not true. So where can we check it?
Experian.
Okay, great.
Yes,
Fab.
is a good one. So you really should know the financial, and this is regardless whether you're in the U.S. or outside, you should know who you're marrying and what you're marrying into.
Right.
But I did want to bring up the point that for an immigrant, for example, those persons need to understand something called the affidavit of support. Have you ever heard of someone filing for someone?
Absolutely.
It could be a spouse, it could be a parent, a child, or a sibling. So that person is the sponsor. So when they file for someone, they're required to complete an affidavit of support.
Right.
And this is a contract between the sponsor and the federal government.
Definitely, so they have to be truthful.
They have to be truthful, and you're basically signing away saying that you are going to be responsible for that person and maintain them at 125% above the federal poverty guidelines. So that is a contractual obligation that is separate and apart from spousal support. So imagine if during a divorce proceedings, an immigrant is not only entitled, depending on the situation, to spousal support, they can enforce this contract. So this contract is binding no matter if you had a prenup, it is binding, and it can only be canceled under 4 conditions. 1, the person becomes a U.S. citizen. 2, they worked 40 hours under the Social Security systems, which is about 10 years. 3, the person dies, or 4, they leave the U.S. permanently. So if you're marrying an immigrant, you need to be aware that this is a federal obligation that is enforceable regardless of what is stipulated in a prenup.
Okay.
Yes.
We did not know that part.
Correct.
Wow. And normally, talk to us a little bit about, Bridget, how long does it take for the filing? Because a lot of times people get married and they're being drawn around. You hear it soon come true, it soon come true, and not now come true. And it's taking a prolonged period of time. Generally speaking, what's the time range with which we're dealing?
Generally speaking, you're looking at about 1.5 to 2 years maximum if it's a U.S. citizen spouse petitioning for a spouse or child. So it should be less than 2 years, generally around the 18-month mark. However, a lot of our people don't value professional services, so them go to a street lawyer or the person down the street, and so sometimes there are errors that cause delays in the processing time. So I always recommend working with a licensed attorney. Very
well, so they can find you or persons in your field who do, because you do that kind of stuff, correct?
Yes, I am the Reggae Visa lawyer. I do specialize in that, but I do all kinds of cases, yes.
You preempted me. I was about to say, I know you do the Reggae Visa, but do you do marriages as well or file for persons? Yes. And it's so important, Bridget, that we take this very seriously because these documents are federal documents, and though somebody would have done it for themselves or may have done it, it doesn't mean that that will apply to you. So a professional, especially an attorney, is always advised to get somebody who knows how to treat with these issues so it can be expedited and done properly.
Yes, and it's not just about filling out forms, it's about spotting issues that might occur, so when they come to the embassy, are they going to get approved or not?
Very well. Thank you so very much. I hope we didn't disturb you too much. I hope the flight was great here.
It was great.
So thank you so very much. That was some must-know info from Bridget M. Bennett, attorney at law, the Reggae Visa lawyer. And remember, if you need her, she's here for you. Where can we find you on social media, Miss?
Instagram at thereggaevisalawyer.com.
Very well. All right. Thank you so very much. Please be sure to keep sending those legal questions so that we can ventilate them right here on Law and Order JA. Up next, it's 1, 2, 3, mic check right after the break.